This week on Head to Head, we review Mandalorian episodes 5 and 6. Hello, everybody. I am Eric Vansel.
And I'm Daryl Sanders.
And we're your hosts for this very special show today, where we review The Mandalorian episodes 5 and 6. So let's just get right into this. What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty cool. It was really interesting. The episode 5, I believe, was called the Gunslinger.
Let's go with episode 5 first, because and break it up episode at a time.
Yeah, so it's the Gunslinger, and essentially it's just it's an episode where the Mandalorian runs into this rookie bounty hunter that's kind of chilling in the cantina,
right?
And
not with us though.
Right. And he's basically trying to get his feet wet, but unfortunately for him, the bounty that he has is against someone who's very, very skilled, and he has no hope in basically bringing this person in, who happens to be a woman. And so he sees the Mandalorian, and of course, the fable of the Mandalorian is basically like they're the best warriors and fighters, and so he enlists the help of the Mandalorian to kind of track down this bounty and kind of do it together and hopefully learn something, and then things kind of go south after that.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I have to say it. Episode 5 or Chapter 5, because remember, they are calling these things by chapters.
Right.
Chapter 5 is probably my least favorite of all the Mandalorian episodes.
Yeah, same for me, too.
I mean, it really didn't do anything. It didn't really advance the story at all. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fan service. It's like, oh, look, I forgot. I don't even remember the actress's name. She said carbon scoring and...
Oh, yeah.
and right. And then you saw the, the episode 1 little robots, the whole little hit-the-nose droids or whatever.
The pit droids, I guess that's what they call them.
Yeah, right. You saw those, and look, they're on Tatooine, and look, they're going in the same bar that, we were familiar with, and it's just like...
The one thing I didn't like, too, going to that point, since we're in that locale, is that lady who was there, she just kind of took me out of it.
Yeah.
That whole, babysitter type thing, it was just weird. She's acting like, this is some weird, NBC Hallmark movie. It's like, oh, look, a little baby.
You know what? That is exactly what it reminded me of.
And I'm just
totally reminded me of, some sort of Hallmark Channel kind of thing. Because, exactly.
I'll be home for Christmas or something.
The way that she was acting and everything, it totally took me out of the whole tone of the rest of the... this thing is supposed to be like a Western and kind of a... almost like a lone gunman kind of thing, and he's going from town to town or whatever, in this case, planet to planet.
Right.
And, she's almost acting like she's in a completely different show.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some weird sitcom or something, and it was just kind of like, all right, I can deal without this. Of course, Baby Yoda just always, warms your heart, I guess. But, still, it's like, yes, no, this is the sweater. But, yeah, it's like, I could have done it really did take me out of the show. But I will say, once he kind of got into the canteen and started dealing with the guy.
Yeah, now,
I kind of got
part
put
of
back.
it.
Yeah.
That part of it I kind of like. Now, that's where I disagree, because a lot of people have said, you watch anything else on YouTube or around social media, everybody generally says this is their least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And it's generally for the same reasons, which is that, it takes you out of it, too much fan service, whatever. But where I differ a little bit in the opinion is I did enjoy the rookie bounty hunter, storyline. And even though it didn't really advance his overall story arc very much,
right, I
still like the whole idea.
Yeah, and the actress, I forgot, but she plays on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she's basically...
Who are you talking about?
The bounty.
Oh, that's Ming-Na Wen. Yeah, she was in Street Fighter.
You can say that
she's
better than
one
me.
of my. She's one of my favorite.
Yeah, she played Chun-Li. Yep.
Yeah, she's actually been in a lot of TV series, movies, things like that. She's really good. I've always been a fan of hers, and I was really excited when I found out that she was going to be playing some sort of a bounty hunter.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole adventure of them, scuttling across the desert, and then of course, finally getting to the point where he's kind of trying to show him, the ropes a little bit about staying down, and of course, he's kind of rebellious. Well, why do I have to do this? And he's like, look, just shut up and do it.
Well, and I thought it was really cool, too, how, it's almost like he ends up double crossing him, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a lot of really cool little things that they did in the very last act.
Yeah. And then it's like that person kind of came up, which we don't know who that was.
The guy with the spurs.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to talk about that. Who do you
Yeah.
think it is?
I mean, of course, in my mind, I'm thinking Cad Bane.
It could be. Most people think it's Boba Fett because if you look at Boba Fett's boots and everything like that, it's very similar. Now, I will say that in canon, in the Aftermath trilogy, they had somebody, I don't even remember who it was, but they had somebody who actually found Boba Fett's armor, which really leads to a mystery. Well, did the Sarlacc like yak up the armor or something? I mean, is Boba Fett still down there, or did he escape and he either sold his armor off, or maybe it was too damaged,
right?
And just discarded it or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the Cad Bane theory would be an interesting one. I've always hoped that we would see Cad Bane in this.
Yeah, I think that would be cool, and it would be because I think and that's another person who's as skilled or even more skilled than the Mandalorian. Because we've always talked about how just amazing he was, especially going up against like full-on Jedi. Mm-hmm. So the fact that this woman is really skilled, you kind of wonder like, okay, well, did she learn from Cad Bane and he kind of came back to retrieve her, or so that would be cool for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that I thought was really cool, in this episode, even though, again, wasn't really my favorite. But what about you guys? What did you think of episode or chapter 5? Did you guys think that chapter 5 was a fairly weak episode like we did, or did you guys actually see something in it that you thought was really cool? Be sure to let us know in the comments section below. And now we move to episode 6.
Now, 6 I loved.
6 is one of my favorites.
Yeah, 6 I love. 6 was really cool. I don't remember the name of the title, but chapter 6 was really cool, especially because now you're kind of getting to see, like, all right, him on a different type of mission.
Well, it was very much in the style of, like, a heist film.
It had a heist.
That's what I really loved about it.
Yeah, it had the heist thing, and then it also kind of had touches of horror.
It did. It actually reminded me a lot of the last scene of Rogue One.
Yeah.
Especially, the lights they turn all red, and now it was very
popping.
much of a horror type, Vader ending Rogue One thing.
Even had like a little Halloween vibe, just like,
Yes.
because he's like that slow, methodical stalker. Like,
Yep.
he's not just always running around. He's very calculated in his actions. And so I kind of got like those Michael Myers vibes from him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
And then I loved the different characters. So, for example, like the guy with the little gun arm attached to his back, like that was cool. The little Satan-looking guy that's like the muscle, just the different types of characters. And then, of course, you got to see got a chance to see Twi'leks, in a different type of capacity. And the whole double cross with that too, because like that's her brother that she went to go rescue, and then he ends up like, well, screw her, like just leave her behind.
And that was one of the things that I thought was really cool too. And it's another, basic trope of most heist films is that usually somebody on the team is going to betray the main guy. Mm-hmm. And even though these are somewhat cliche things, I still really enjoyed this episode. There was a lot of action. It felt like old Star Wars to me.
It did.
But it also brought it into something new.
What did you think about the droid?
I like the droid.
He kind of reminded me of K2SO a little bit.
Kind of, yeah. That's exactly who I was thinking of, too. And
Yeah.
K2SO reminds me of, what's his name from Knights of the Old Republic? HK-47, I think.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? This droid kind of had like almost like a cross between K2SO and Lando's droid from Solo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
I can't think of the name, but
one of these days before we do these shows, we really do have to start trying to do some research.
Well, sometimes these things just pop in my head, so it's like I don't even have time to really research or remember every single one, but it's like the one that was basically kind of like in love with Lando.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's it's like names on the tip of my tongue, but yeah, there is a little bit of that too, definitely.
Yeah.
But I really like the whole setup. He runs into an old friend. The old friend has a job for him to do. Mm-hmm. They need a ship because obviously the ship isn't on any of the Imperial records or whatever.
Right.
But he has to work with this team.
That's kind of like he doesn't trust, and he doesn't even really trust his friend. And that's kind of the thing I love too, is that there's like that friendship, but like you still kind of have to watch your back element to it, So he kind of already knew, like, all right, I don't really trust you, and they kind of made that reference, like, yeah, I really don't trust you all the way either, type situation. So,
well, and that's what actually made the ending so cool to me.
Yeah, exactly. Especially how he kind of like slipped that tracker on him.
Yeah.
And then, and even it was, what was awesome was that you're actually getting to see like a lot of different character details of the Mandalorian, either through the eyes of someone else or through his actions in some things. So, for example, the Twilight, so apparently there was a love interest or something at one point in time. So they kept asking, well, did he ever take his helmet off or something like that?
Yeah, that whole scene too, where they were trying to get him to get his helmet on, they were trying to force it off and all that. I thought that was cool. I thought it was great. All the action sequences, the fight scenes, and that was really cool. You got to, because the problem that I always had with the Mandalorian is that on one hand it's cool, but he gets his butt kicked too much.
Well, I think that's the cool thing about him, though. It's like,
yeah, but I would like to see. I don't necessarily need to see him be like this all-powerful warrior or anything like that. But it's like, come on, man. It's
yeah.
Maybe do a 60-40 instead of 50-50.
Well, that's what I liked about that whole scene where, to that point though, is when when they kind of got on the prison ship, and the alarm goes off because the idiot starts shooting around on the ship, and he just goes out, he takes out all of them.
That's exactly.
And then the guy was even looking like, whoa, okay, like he's
and
no
it was
joke.
Also interesting that they didn't go in to help him.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing. They kind of knew, like, he's supposed to be the best fighter, so let's see. And
I
then
took that more as like they didn't want to. It's like, listen, if he gets killed, nobody cares. It's like.
Well, that too, but they also kind of wanted to see what he can do because
they heard all these rumors about the Mandalorians. Exactly.
So that's why I like they kind of played on that, and then even the situation with the guard, you saw his side of him not trying to kill. He's like, look, listen, let's just give us the thing. We'll go away. It doesn't have to be like this. He's
now. Do you there's some interesting. Now that you bring this up, there's a lot of interesting cameos. That guy that you're talking about was actually the voice of Anakin in the Clone Wars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then the X-Wing pilots at the end, that was Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and the guy that directed, I think, episode 2 or chapter 2. I forgot his name.
Oh, okay.
But it was 3 of the directors.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Of that, yeah. So, there's... it's cool, too, that they're willing to do stuff like that. And everybody seems to be having fun with Star Wars. And I think that's what makes this show so good.
Yeah. It's fun. It's serious, but not serious.
Right. It's like it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it does treat the franchise seriously.
Right.
And you get that well-balanced Star Wars humor, and you get... the people who are creating it, are putting themselves in it, and it's just like they're having a good time with it. And I think that that's coming through on the series, and I think that that's why this series is so good.
Yeah, it definitely. When you put yourself into it, you're even more invested because it's
absolutely.
I'm really truly a part of this thing.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see where they go.
Yeah, with
the next 2 chapters, and with that, we will be reviewing, the final 2 chapters of The Mandalorian. In a couple of weeks. Look for that on our channel. In the meantime, let us know what you guys thought of Chapter 6 and Chapter 5. Let us know in the comments section. Is The Mandalorian living up to your expectations? Is it falling a little bit short? Are you a little neutral about it? Let's talk about it in the comments section. And with that, I'm Eric Vansel.
I'm Daryl Sanders.
And we'll see you on our next podcast.